Morning. I think we're just waiting on Mike at the moment. So,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I saw that we're not going to have a quorum for at least one of them. Who's not going
yeah,
to be here?
Amber can't be here today. So, and she was on the quorum for that case.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Did everyone get to see the Historic Kansas City Awards?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did well.
Yeah, some great projects.
I thought it was a good presentation too.
Yeah, actually, I thought they did really well with the Zoom format.
Sean, did you get your Jeep back?
Oh, not yet. I got the estimate from the dealer and from the insurance company, and there's a few $1,000s difference. So I got to fight with them after this.
I'm sorry. Sounds like a lot of destruction.
Yeah, it'll be all right. But
Hey, Brad, are we still planning on being virtual probably through the end of the year?
I have it set up that way, so I most likely.
Cool.
So I don't think the emergency order is going to change. So that's good through January, and usually it's either to be all in person or all online. I've seen City Plan Commission does a hybrid, but it's a little odd. I mean, some people there and some people not. So I think it's easier just to do either all online or all in person, but
I think it's been kind of hard for participation to try, as the others who aren't there are trying to speak, and
yeah.
so,
I don't see anything getting better in the next few months anyways, so.
Now, I said, even if they get a vaccine going, it'll take a while to get out there and really be effective. So
Yeah.
hey, Brad, this updated agenda with the links, at least for me, the links are not working except for the minutes.
oh, really?
None of the cases seem to be working.
Let me check here.
Yeah, mine isn't either.
I think the original one you sent out did, but
It did.
yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah. Mine seem to be working. Are you on the regular cases? Starting with number 11?
Uh-huh.
Oh. No, actually, they are working on the regular ones for me. They weren't on the,
Yeah, I usually don't put links to the administrative ones because I've already sent them out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Let me double check. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
That's fine. I said there's a lot on the docket this month. So yeah, you kind of have to scroll down to get to the regular cases.
Got it. Okay.
Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to restart my internet here at my office.
Yep, not a problem.
Well, that makes 5.
Yep, that is our quorum for today. So
Perfect. Shall we start?
hold a second here,
Okay.
switch on the recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
We are ready to go.
Okay, let me just get to my open page here. All right. Good morning and welcome to the Friday, September 25th, 2020 hearing of the Historic Preservation Commission. My name is Mike Harden. I am the chair. I am joined today by Vice Chair Amanda Laughlin and fellow commissioners Sarah Legg, Sean Owens, and Dr. Walter Guth. We'll begin this morning with a swearing in of city staff. Ms. Roulette, do you need to be sworn in? No? Okay. Mr. Wolf, please raise your right hand for the oath. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Very good. We will now commence with a reading of the docket.
So before you are the August 28th, 2020 minutes for the commission to review and approve.
Excellent. Fellow commissioners, if you could take a moment, review these, and make sure you see no errors. And then if I could have a motion to accept these minutes into the record of this commission, and you can simply say so moved.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion made by Dr. Guth. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Owens. All right. We're going to do, because again, we're digital, we're going to do a roll call vote on everything. So I'm just going to go in the order I see us on the screen. Commissioner Legg.
Do I move on this since I wasn't there?
Yes, you can.
You can vote. Yeah, you can vote.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Do you
Aye.
vote aye? Okay, very good. Vice Chair Laughlin.
Aye.
Commissioner Owens.
Aye.
Dr. Guth.
Aye.
I will vote aye. I vote of 5-0. This is officially included in the record of this commission. Mr. Wolf.
So we had a number of administrative cases that were reviewed by staff that are presented. And then for our regular cases, the first regular case is CH-DR-2020-00069. The applicant is present and staff is ready to proceed. Case number CH-DR-2020-00074, 413 Park Avenue. Actually, Commissioner Courtney is on that quorum. She is not present today, so that'll have to be automatically continued to the next meeting.
All right, can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Vice Chair Laughlin, motion to continue.
Second.
Dr. Guth seconded. All right, Commissioner Legg, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair Laughlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye, so continued.
Case number CH-DR-2020-00092. The applicant has indicated she will attend and staff is ready to proceed. Case number CH-DR-2020-00098, 18 West 52nd Street. The applicant has indicated she will attend and staff is ready to, or actually the applicant is present and staff is ready to proceed.
Okay.
And case number CH-DR-2020-00101. The applicant is 1400 East Linwood Boulevard. The applicants are present and staff is ready to proceed. And we'll hold the 106 till later in the meeting.
Excellent. And what did you say the address was on 2020-00092?
Yeah, I was waiting for notice to proceed. I hadn't actually received it yet. So
Okay. And what's the address on it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Back, 918 West 32nd Terrace.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Wolf, I'd like to call case number CH-DR-2020-00069.
So the applicant is Michael Forrest. I've promoted him to the panelist position. Mr. Forrest, if you could unmute your microphone so you can be sworn in.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Forrest, good morning and welcome. First, please raise your right hand for the oath. Do you confirm in absence of your face that your right hand is raised and you are Michael Forrest?
Yes, I am. There we go. Sorry.
Good. All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. Mr. Wolf, the staff report for case number CH-DR-2020-00069 lists exhibits A through Q. Are there any new exhibits for the record?
There are no new exhibits.
Very good. And is there any opposition to admitting exhibits A through Q for the record from my fellow commissioners? Okay, hearing none, they are so admitted. Mr. Wolf, we are ready to proceed with the staff report.
The property address is 902 West 38th Street. It's a contributing property in the Roanoke Historic District. This is the main facade. It's actually on a corner lot at the corner of 38th and Madison. This is the north side, the Madison side. This is the south side that faces 38th Street. And this is 38th Street. You can see the garage and the existing chain link fence that goes around the backyard that connects to a neighbor's privacy fence. And this is looking up Madison to the north and down 38th Street and across the street on Madison. So the applicant is proposing to change the existing paint scheme to dark green for the main body color with classic white for the trim, polished mahogany for the accent and soffits, and also black magic for the accent. And then for the fencing, the applicant is proposing to construct a 6-foot black aluminum picket fence with metal posts adjacent to 38th Street in Madison. It will connect to the existing privacy fence. Basically, neighbor to the north, there's an existing privacy fence, and then on 38th Street, there's an existing privacy fence. There will be pedestrian gates at the 2 sidewalks and at the garage location with the same design and height. The proposed paint scheme is compatible with the style of the house in the district and conforms to standards 2 and 5. There have been 2 perimeter fences approved in Roanoke before the existing guidelines were adopted. A 6-foot iron fence at 3525 Bellevue, or 3725 Bellevue, excuse me, which let me go back to that picture. It's actually located directly west of the property, so there's actually an existing 6-foot fence, and that's mostly to enclose a pool in that area. And then there was another one, a 5-foot wrought iron fence at 3601 Madison, which was located in the north part of the district. In particular, that property really had little to no backyard. The proposed fencing style is compatible with the house and the district and conforms to standard number 9. The 6-foot height, which is above the 4-foot height recommended in the fencing guidelines, is in partial violation of standard number 2. The fence can be removed in the future without harming the integrity of the property and conforms with standard number 10. And that concludes the staff report.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Questions for staff? Raise your hand if you have any. Okay, none? All right, great. If there are no further questions for staff, we'll go ahead and close the floor to further testimony. Mr. Forrest, we'd like to allow you a time as the applicant to testify about your project before us today. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I think he pretty much covered it all.
Okay, very good. Questions for Mr. Forrest? I have one, Mr. Forrest. Mr. Wolf recommends in his staff report that we reduce the height of the fence to 4 feet, and I may have just missed this, but are you amenable to that?
I would I would rather do a 6-foot fence. I mean, the property right next door has that same height, so I think it would look weird if it was a 6-foot fence and then dropped to a 4-foot fence of the same material, if that makes sense.
I understand. Commissioner Owens?
Pardon me. The reason the fence next door is different is the fact that there's a swimming pool located there. At least that's what I believe. And I am kind of a stickler for fences, and Roanoke's a very open neighborhood as of now. There are a few fences around, but in general, it's sort of I see the neighborhood as an extension of Roanoke Park, as if these mansions are just placed in the park, and I hate to see it split up with a lot of fencing. May I ask the purpose of the fence? Are you worried about security or?
It's partially security, and then I think it also gives it like just kind of like a more like stately feel when you have like a wrought iron fence outside of one of these like nicer old houses. Kind of like, I mean, you don't have pictures of like the neighbor's house really with their fence, but like
I'm
you
really
said, that
familiar
was-
with the neighbor's house.
yeah, okay, there you go. So there.
I just historically this neighborhood hasn't had a lot of fencing, so that's where I get a little heartache from. And it could look stately, or it could also look fortress-like and unwelcoming, which is more of what I'm seeing. But just some thoughts from me.
Very good.
There.
Commissioner Lake?
Full disclosure, my house looks directly at this house. So, Brad, I have a question about the house to the west that has the pool and the 6-foot fence.
Yes,
You didn't mention that in one of your properties. Do you know if that was approved by the Historic Preservation Commission, or is that?
it was. It was. Yeah, basically that fence, and then there was one on the northern part of the district, really are only the two perimeter fences that the commission has approved in the district.
And was that one approved at 6 feet because of the pool, or was it because that house sits higher, or?
It was mostly the pool, the requirement of the height of the fence. So, like I said, that was actually put in quite a while ago. It's not a recent fence, long before existing guidelines were adopted.
And then a question for the applicant. I know in the past we've met in the middle at a 5-foot fence. And their yard is kind of interesting because the backyard actually faces the street. So it wouldn't look so bad on the south side of the house to have a taller fence. But when you get around the corner to kind of the entryway to the house, it might look a little fortressy having a full 6-foot fence right on the sidewalk there. But I don't have a preference really either way.
Oh, were you talking about on the Madison side? Once you go around the corner?
Yeah, on the northwest corner there of Madison and 38th.
Yeah, I could see that because it's a smaller street.
It might even look okay if you, I don't know if you have that picture of the south side of the property, Brad.
Yep.
Doing the 6-foot fence kind of to where the existing fence is with the back of the house. I don't know if you're planning on, I can't remember, I need to look back at the sketch. Putting or keeping the fence kind of in the backyard there, or if it's all going to be one fence. But it might look weird dropping it down to a 4-foot with the house. Right, yeah, right there in the corner where that fence post is. Are you going to keep that fence connecting to the house, or will that go completely?
That'll go away completely.
Okay, yeah, so it would look kind of funky if you did like 6 foot and then 4 foot for the actual house.
Right. I agree.
Okay. Commissioner Owens, your hand is still up. Were you still on deck? Okay, go ahead. And then Vice Chair Laughlin.
I do still have a comment. Would you be amenable to just fencing in your backyard where that existing fence already stands, and maybe, do a 6-foot fence or 4-foot fence in that area, but keeping the front of your house open, as everyone on that street has an open yard to the street, and it just gives a very beautiful, welcoming feel. And I wish to maintain that feel. Would you ever be open to just fencing in your backyard?
Yes, that was actually going to be one of my follow-up questions, was if the full perimeter fence is not approved, could it be approved that we install a similar style, either 4-foot or 6-foot fence where the existing fence is?
I'd have to get input from the rest of the commission, but that's what I wish would happen in this case, personally.
Okay.
Mike?
Vice Chair Laughlin.
I have a few questions. And I like that idea as well. Just fencing in, replacing the existing fence that's there. Let's just start at this photograph. There's the back privacy fence from your neighbor. It looks like it comes down to 4 feet to match the height maybe of that chain link fence. So I'm just kind of calling that out as like that would be a weird transition. Not a big deal, but that's something to think about as well. If you have a 6-foot fence, like abutting that 4-foot point. As you move, I guess what is this facing north?
This is South 38th Street.
Okay, so if you're going towards the front of the house, towards Madison, I think a 6-foot fence might end up hiding the beautiful railing on your house, and maybe actually taking away from some of that, the view of your porch. And then as you go around to the front of the house, I noticed that there's like a berm where your house sits higher than the street. And so I was curious where the fence would be located. Would it be along the sidewalk? Would it be on top of that berm? I'm just a little confused as to placement of where that fence would be, because that might, I think a 4-foot fence would get you the height you're looking for. I mean, it doesn't look as tall here, but I think in a photo looking at the corner of the house, it looks like a taller berm. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So those are just some of my thoughts, just kind of thinking about what the design would look like.
I was thinking of basically going right up against the sidewalk, but I don't know what the height on a 4-foot fence versus that berm would look like now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe Sarah would know.
I was just looking at it, and there's a couple of examples in Pendleton Heights that we've approved a 4-foot fence at the top of the berm. That would connect kind of to the top of where that railing is in that photo. And you'd still get your height, like your 6-foot height almost, but it would be less imposing on the actual house itself or on the sidewalk.
Right.
And then that could actually go all the way around as a 4-foot, connecting to the existing neighbor's fence, where it is, as Commissioner Laughlin mentioned, where it kind of drops down and goes to that 3 or 4 feet. And then you'd still be able to either wrap the fence on the driveway and do a 6-foot meeting with the privacy fence there on the north side and put a driveway gate in, or, just continue it across 4 feet and do 6 feet meeting up to the privacy fence. But I agree, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a driveway gate that's 4 feet tall.
Right.
In my opinion. I think that would look kind of weird.
Okay, Vice Chair Laughlin, do you still have comment? Okay. I noticed your hand was raised in the participant menu, so I want to make sure. All right, very good. So I feel like we've got a couple of solid options now. If we don't have any further questions for the applicant, I'll ask Mr. Forrest, which of the options before you do you prefer?
So in my opinion, it's either a full perimeter 6-foot fence or just replace the backyard, honestly. Those are the two that made the most sense to me.
Okay, very good. If there are no further questions for the applicant, I will say, Mr. Forrest, I think then that what this commission will do, based off of what I've heard before us here, is just replace the backyard fence, the fence to the extent, sorry. So we'll go ahead and close further testimony and questions from the applicant. Ask if there's any member of the audience in the attendee section who is here to comment on this case and would like to do so. Please raise your hand in the participant menu now. Okay, going once, going twice, sold. All right, noting that there are no members of the audience who wish to participate, we will close the floor to further testimony and allow for discussion amongst the commission or perhaps a motion. Commissioner Legg.
I just have a really quick question for the applicant. If you do move forward with just the backyard fence, are you still planning on putting a driveway gate at the north end of the property?
No, if we did the backyard fence, it would probably just be either a 4 or 6 foot fence to basically match the neighbor.
Okay, and then question for the commission, are we good with a 6-foot fence replacing the existing backyard fence?
I have no problem with that.
I have no problems there.
Because it would match the neighbor's fence, and the extent of the fence is so much smaller, it's not surrounding the house, that for that short length, if he desires 6 feet, maybe that's the way to meet him halfway with the original intent. I still think a 4 foot would look great, but I think we could leave that, the height maybe up to him.
Yeah, you could make the motion 4 to 6 feet and leave it up to the applicant.
Very good.
He will still have to go before getting a variance, right?
Yeah, if you wanted to do 6 feet in the back, yeah, technically you would have to get a variance since it's street adjacent. Yes.
But if we did a 4 foot, I wouldn't have to do that. Is that?
No. Nope. 4 foot wouldn't, you can do.
We're all good with the paint scheme. I assume nobody made any comments.
Yeah, I would presume we're all good with the paint scheme. Any discussion on the paint scheme? Okay.
That's nice.
If
I
not,
like-
all right, very good. So we've got universal approval on the paint scheme, it seems like. All right, I would love for someone then among my commissioners to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
All right, so in case number CHDR 2020-0069 at 902 West 38th Street in the Roanoke Historic District. The commission approves the paint scheme that the applicant has submitted for the property, and that is in conformance with standards 2 and 5. And the commission approves the replacement of the existing fencing with a 4 to 6 foot fence, which would then be in conformance with standards 9, 2, and 10.
Very good. Motion has been made. Is there a second? Commissioner Owens.
Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Legg, seconded by Commissioner Owens. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, we'll go a roll call vote in the order I see you. Commissioner Legg.
Aye.
Commissioner Owens.
Aye.
Dr. Guth.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lockwood.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. By a vote of 5-0, this does pass. Mr. Forrest, thank you for coming before us today, and good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Wolf, we continued case number 2020-00074. So I'd like to call case number CH-2020-00092. I'd like to call that case only if the applicant is present, though.
I do not see them present at the moment, so we might move on to the next case.
Okay, very good. In that case, I'd like to call the matter of case number CH-DR-2020-00098 concerning 18 West 52nd Street.
Carla Nassif is present. I promote her to panelist, and Ms. Nassif, if you could unmute yourself so you could get sworn in.
Okay,
There she is.
there we go. Very good. Good morning, Ms. Nassif. How are you?
I think you're still muted, actually.
Video. So if you're on your cell phone, if you tap, there should be on the bottom the option to unmute as well as to turn on your video.
Brad, can you unmute her
Let
or?
me try here.
Usually it's only if she has enabled her microphone to start with inside the app.
Yeah.
And I would say that we can just swear her in by doing a lip reading like I do, right? But then we have a problem when we get to the testimony from the applicant.
Yes. Yep. Looks like she's unmuted now.
Oh,
Ms.
beautiful.
Nassif, I think you're good.
Ms. Nassif, good morning. How are you? Can you hear us?
Would it be possible for her to call in?
Yeah, she could. There she is. Ms. Nassif, you're unmuted at least. Can you,
Can
we
you
can't hear you.
Can you hear us? We can't hear you at all.
Is her phone connected to Bluetooth by chance on her car? Sometimes on my phone that happens and I can't.
Yeah, turning off Bluetooth might help.
I'm trying to see. So, Ms. Nassif, I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but I just logged on my iPhone, right? And of course, it's like looking at a repetitive, but right down here, there's a little microphone button. And that's what you have to, but I will say when you joined, you had to have pressed a button that says enable or call with internet audio. So you might want to leave the Zoom meeting and jump back in. And when you get that notice, it'll look like, here, I'll start a meeting on my account. It'll look like, there, see, so to hear others join, right? You join with internet audio, call with internet audio, and you have to press call using internet audio in order to be in the meeting. You might try leaving your Zoom and jumping back in, and we can re-promote you to the panelists.
She may not be able to hear us either.
She was saying she could.
Okay.
Looks like she jumped off.
Okay, okay, let's see if that helps.
So she logs back in here in a minute.
Can I move that we go to a different case while we're waiting for her?
I said we do have the applicants for a 101 present, so we could go ahead and review that and then hear hers after.
Mr. Wolf, I'm going to go ahead and temporarily table this and call case number CH-DR-2020-00101 concerning 1400 East Linwood.
I've promoted Mr. Imes to the panelist. If you can unmute yourself. Oh, Ms. Nassif is back actually.
All right, Mr. Imes. Ms. Nassif, let's have you hang out while we see if this works. And we're going to take Mr. Imes' case real quick, so don't go anywhere, okay? Mr. Imes, good morning. How are you? Mr. Imes, can you hear me? Mr. Imes? Mr. Imes.
I've also promoted Ms. Faulkner to a panelist position.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Faulkner. How are you?
Good, and you?
Not too bad. Is Mr. Imes going to be testifying with us today or just you?
I can speak on his behalf. We've been working together on the project, so if we want to
Yeah.
just proceed, I think that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Imes, if you can hear me at any point and you can join in.
Can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
You. Hold on real quick, guys. All right, so Mr. Wolf, what I'm going to do, if you couldn't see the chat on my fellow commissioners, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and swear in Ms. Faulkner. Then I'm going to type the swearing into Mr. Imes, and we'll go ahead and get started with the staff report. Ms. Faulkner, can you confirm that you are indeed Trudy Faulkner, and you raise your right hand and say that your right hand is raised?
I am, and my right hand is raised.
Very good. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. Mr. Imes, I know you can't hear us yet, so.
Can actually, it's just very low volume.
Okay, there we go. Mr. Imes, welcome. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. All right, there we go. We are live. Mr. Wolf, the staff report lists exhibits A through S. Are there any new exhibits for the record?
There are no new exhibits.
Very good. Is there any opposition amongst my fellow commissioners to admitting exhibits A through S? Okay, hearing none, they are so admitted, and we'll proceed with the staff report. Mr. Wolf.
Property address is 1400 East Linwood Boulevard. It's an individually listed landmark known as the St. Regis Hotel. It's actually on the corner of Paseo and Linwood. This is the south facade that faces Linwood, and then the east facade, which faces the parking lot. This is the corner of Linwood and Paseo, really the two main contributing facades with all the decorative details. This is the the west facade. And this is the north facade. And this is more of a straight on shot of the east facade. So this is actually a historic rehab tax credit project that the applicants are performing. So it has been reviewed by the National Park Service also. But in particular, there is quite a bit of masonry work to be performed on the building. Some of it will require the wholesale removal and reconstruction of brick. Some of it will just be repair and remove, and then just general repointing. So you can see those areas noted on the plan submitted by the applicant. Really, it's on the east and west sides mostly where you see most of the brick masonry that needs the major repairs. There's also a deteriorated trellis that on the south side, excuse me, go back to that, located up here, that the applicant will be basically replacing in kind where needed. And then basically some of the decorative terracotta balustrades, as you can see, located on the arrows noted on the picture above the main porch entrance, and then some on the lower floors will be actually restored with GF RC replicas. And they'll remove the existing non-historic iron balconies. This is a close-up of the roof trellis and the deterioration. And then for the windows and doors, the applicant will be replacing all the windows on the property, and then replacing one of the entry doors, basically located down here. Basically located on the south facade. It's a non-historic door that was replaced some time ago. They're going to install a more historically appropriate multi-light door. And just to show you, this is the window condition survey that noted here. Basically, they perform this, basically look at and review all the basically determine which windows were beyond repair and which need major repair. And they'll basically using a custom window for the two main facades located on the basically main facades on the south and west that are more distinctive and character defining, and then use a fiberglass window on the east and the south facades, which are not as character defining. Then also the applicant is proposing to replace the window wells. Basically along the south, there's actually some water infiltration problems. This will basically not look any different generally from the street. Basically we'll just be digging down and putting appropriately drained window wells along the basement to address some water infiltration issues. And then we'll be replacing the windows with historically appropriate windows. And this is a close-up of the window I was showing you. And these are the basement windows highlighted. And the last part of the scope of work, they are upgrading the mechanicals. As part of that, they are actually locating them at the ground level along the east facade, and they want to enclose them with a 9-foot Trex fence that will be located basically on the inset of the east facade and extend out to the sidewalk, which basically will be located right here. It'll basically be a brown color, fairly neutral, and try to blend in with the general look of the masonry. The proposal to rebuild and repoint masonry and will preserve and replace the masonry where needed, and will use compatible mortar in conformance with standards 5 and 6. The existing trellis is deteriorated, and the proposal to replace it with a matching design is in conformance with standard number 6. The proposal to remove the non-historic balustrade and replace with balustrades based on historic photographs is in conformance with standards 2 and 3 and 6. The window condition survey shows the majority of the windows are in need of or beyond repair and require replacement in conformance with standard number 6. And the proposed replacement windows will match the configuration of the existing windows and use a matching profile in conformance with standards 6 and 9. The existing east door is not a historic feature, and its removal is in conformance with standard 2. And the proposed door is based on historic photographs and is an appropriate style in conformance with standards 3 and 9. The proposed window wells will be below grade and will not alter any significant spaces in conformance with standards 2 and 9. And the proposed mechanical enclosure is on a secondary facade and will not alter or obscure any significant spaces in conformance with standard number 2. And the proposed Trex fencing will be set back from the main facade, will be compatible with the secondary area of the building, and can be removed in the future without harming the integrity of the property in conformance with standards 9 and 10. And that concludes the staff report.
Very good. Thank you. Questions for staff? Okay.
Commissioner Owen.
Can you guys hear me?
It's a little echoey,
Okay.
but my question for Mr. Wolf, well, for one, I'm very excited about this and impressed by the extent of the restoration. Great building, great project. Do we know, is the building going to be emptied out or partially occupied during construction? Just a curiosity. And also, is the use of the building changing after the restoration, or will it continue to be subsidized housing?
I don't believe it's changing. I'm not the use. I'm not sure if about the whether people will have to move out or not, though. Actually, I'm not sure. You might ask that of the applicant, but no, I don't think there's supposed to be a change of use.
Okay, and none of that would sway my decision. Just more curious. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Vice Chair Laughlin.
And this may be a question more for Ms. Faulkner, but I'm curious if any of the brick that will be taken off on the east side, is that going to be reused, or is it just going to have a brick that matches the existing? Just a curiosity. But I don't know, Brad, if you know, or if that's more a question for Trudy.
Maybe some of the details. Generally, I think they're trying to reuse as much as possible. So you might follow up with her a little bit more on the specifics of there's new brick that needs to be put in certain spots.
I have a question really quickly as well for you, Brad. They are planning on replacing every single window, is that correct?
Yes.
Even though some of them are deemed saving or not, or they're all deemed that they need to all be replaced?
Basically, when we're looking, and this is partially the tax credit projects, when you're looking at replacing windows, if the majority of them basically are seen as needing replacement, usually allow for all of them, just because on large buildings, having a consistency of replacement usually is preferred. So, and in this case, the window condition survey showed the majority of them needed to be replaced.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Mr. Wolf? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Faulkner, Mr. Imes, if you'd like to explain your project and testify, now is the time.
John, do you want to give a few comments about the background on the project, or
Sure.
I dive in a little?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brad, Mr. Wolf, I think did a good job of summing up. The scope for the exterior is obviously it's pretty significant, the deterioration of the current masonry. So the undertaking by our structural engineering partners to stabilize and replace to the extent that's needed, I think it's shown pretty accurately in the description from Mr. Wolf. I will add the door on the south of the building, which is actually the main entry, is also being replaced similarly to the west facing door that's been called out. Otherwise, I think all that scope was captured. And I think there was a previous question about the occupancy. It will be vacated for construction. There's also some additional interior work happening concurrently. So, and the use for the building is not changing as well. It'll continue to be a multifamily residential.
Okay, very good.
I have a few quick comments to add, if that's okay.
Yes, of course, Ms. Faulkner.
So this project was started back in 2013 and has gone through 3 different property owners. So I'm really excited to see it moving forward at this point. Can you hear me?
Yes.
One of the main things when we did that window assessment, we did work closely with John Sander with National Park Service to identify an appropriate replacement window. And the cost of doing that, given the height of the building and the number of windows, was extreme. And so that's why we looked at doing fiberglass windows on the non-primary facades. We used a window, or specified a window, that had been previously approved by the commission on another project. And we used fiberglass instead of vinyl because fiberglass is much more stable and has a longer life cycle. So a lot of the details were very thoroughly thought through on this. And as the project proceeded, I mean, the window survey that you saw was done 5 years ago. So you can imagine the additional level of deterioration that's happened since that time frame. And we also saw that with the masonry. So when we started the project, the masonry was not as extreme, but now there are large sections up on the 8th and 9th floor where both the interior clay tile support wall and the exterior brick white have become structurally unsound and have shifted out of plumb 3 inches in some places. So there's a pretty urgent need to start this project quickly.
It would sound like it. But I will say, I guess, so if you have no further testimony, we'll begin with questioning, and I'll just make a comment, and I'll just say that I think that, I mean, 1, this is such a beautiful building, and 2, it's obvious how much work and time you 2 and your team have put into this, and I think it's going to look fantastic. Start with Commissioner Legge, who raised her hand first, and Vice Chair Laughlin. Commissioner Legge?
Will you guys be using any historic tax credits or anything like that to do the work?
Yes, we are pursuing both state and federal tax credits. They have already been approved, and so we're now in the process of adding an amendment for the additional scope of work that has been added to the project.
And then will these be market rate apartments, or will they continue to be subsidized?
I believe they're also pursuing the MHDC credits, so it would be subsidized.
Correct.
All right. Commissioner Laughlin, Vice Chair Laughlin?
Excuse me. I'm just curious, Ms. Faulkner, I'm just going to rephrase or re-ask my question about, will the brick on, I'm looking at the west facade especially, is that going to be like reused and put back in place, or will there be brick that matches? Is there a way to consolidate some from the east side to the west? I'm just concerned about consistent look.
So part of the issue, actually, I think this is a pretty easy brick to match in terms of texture and color. The goal is that we're going to reuse, they're going to palletize and stack all of the windowsills and brick that they need to. Several of the lintels, steel lintels above the windows have to be replaced. So I know that there's cracking at the edge of those. So there's probably 10% of the brick that we're going to lose, but I think that we have the ability to match. Plus there are other products like Naka where you can do staining to subtly adjust that for seamless appearance. There's not a lot we can take from the east side. I think that that side's probably got a little bit more deterioration, but it is in the section that is the more fired finished brick. So if that becomes an issue, we could do that. It's just going to have a little bit different weathering on it. And I don't know how different that would look, but the goal is to reuse as much of the original materials as possible. The backup clay tile, part of the issue was the brick and the clay tile had different thermal expansion rates. And so all of the masonry ties have snapped, which is why we're having to go to this extent of work. So the backup wall, they will replace the clay tile with a CMU reinforced wall. So it's stable.
Nice.
Thankfully, all of the floors and structure are concrete, so we're in good shape there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this. I drive by this almost every day. And when those orange fences went up, I was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing to this building? So, but I think it's probably because stuff was maybe going to be falling off. So as a precaution.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. So.
All right. Excellent. Other questions for the applicant? Okay, hearing none. If there's any member of the audience who would like to testify, the time to raise your hand in the panelist chat. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Fantastic. Hearing no public testimony, we'll close the floor to further testimony, allow for an opportunity for discussion amongst the commission, or perhaps in this instance, it would seem most appropriate to have a motion made. Commissioner Owens.
Unless anybody else on the commission has any comments, I'd like to go ahead and make this motion.
Please do.
Okay. Well, in case number CHDR 2020 00101 1400 East Linwood Boulevard, the St. Regis Hotel. I move that the commission approve a certificate of appropriateness to, pardon me one moment, to stabilize and repair brick, masonry, and terracotta, replace windows and two doors, install window wells, restore the balustrades and roof trellis, and install a mechanical enclosure as these items are in conformance with the Secretary of Interior's standards for rehabilitations numbers 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10.
All right, almost all of them. Very good. Motion made by Commissioner Owens. Is there a second?
Very happily a second.
And Dr. Guth very happily seconds. Excellent. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Commissioner Legge, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair Laughlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Last and certainly not least, Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Mr. Imes and Ms. Faulkner, thank you so much. This is a beautiful project, and thank you for your stewardship of a gorgeous building. Your vote is approved by a vote of 5. Your project is approved by a vote of 5-0, and we'll see you around.
Thank you so much.
Very good. All right. Before we move on, Ms. Nassif, can you confirm that you can talk?
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yay!
All right. Good morning, Ms. Nassif. How are you?
Good morning. I had some technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll be good now.
No worries. Mr. Wolf, I would love to call case number 2020-00098 concerning 18 West 52nd Street.
Yes, we have exhibits A through O for the record.
Is there any opposition amongst my fellow commissioners to admitting exhibits A through O? Hearing none, they are so admitted, and we will proceed with the staff report. Whenever you are ready, Mr. Wolf.
The property address is 18 West 52nd Street. It's a contributing property in the Simpson Yeomans Countryside Historic District. Basically, it's the corner of 52nd and Baltimore. This is the Baltimore side of the house. And this is at the corner of Baltimore and 52nd Street. And this is the 52nd Street facing of the house. And this is on the Baltimore side. And then along 52nd and looking west across the street. So the applicant is proposing to replace the existing 3-foot wood fence and gate with a 4-foot Genesis black steel fence and gate in the same location. So you can see there on the left, that's the style of the fencing. And basically it'll swing up and they'll have gates at the top of the steps, similar to the existing fence. And that existing fence was actually approved by the commission in 1998. The proposed fence will be compatible with the style of fences in the district and will not alter or obscure any significant spaces and conforms to standards 2 and 9. And the fence can be removed in the future without harming the integrity of the property and conforms to standard number 10. And that concludes the staff report.
Very good. All right, any questions for Mr. Wolf? Hearing none. Oh, Commissioner Owens, sorry, didn't mean to silence you there.
No problem. As opposed to the earlier case in the Roanoke Historic District, for this particular district, fencing is not uncommon.
No, we actually have quite a few we've approved perimeter fences throughout the district, some up to 6 feet in height. So,
okay. And also pointing out that this property already does have a fence. So
yes.
Just kind of differentiating the two cases.
Very
Got
good. Very good. Any other questions? Okay. Hearing none, Ms. Nassif, you would like an opportunity to testify about your project.
I think that covers it all. The wood fence just doesn't, it's rotting. And so we would like to have a safe fence, especially for our neighbors and for our kids. So that's what we're looking to do.
Excellent. All right, questions for Ms. Nassif? Am I saying your last name right, or is it Nassif?
It is, that's perfect. Well, it depends on what part of the world you're in. My husband's family came over here long enough ago and they have lived in the Midwest long enough that it's Nassif.
Fair enough. Right on. Well, I will say, since we have no questions for you, that not only is this a beautiful neighborhood, but I know where this house is in this neighborhood, and it's a gorgeous house, and it's obvious that you guys really care about it. So it's great to see. So,
and you'll see me back again. We're gonna continue to try to keep. I love historic homes, but this one needs a little bit more TLC currently. So you'll see me back again to do some more TLC.
We look forward to it. Very good. There are no questions from Ms. Nassif. We will close the floor to further testimony. Ask if any member of the audience would like to testify. Now is the time to do so. Please raise your hand in the participant panel. Okay. Hearing and seeing none, we will close the floor to further testimony, allow for opportunity for discussion amongst the commission, or perhaps in this instance, a motion. Commissioner Owens, why not go 3 for 3 today?
I was just about to raise my hand, so let's do it. So in case number CHDR 2020-00098, 18 West 52nd Street within the Simpsons Yeomans Countryside Historic District, I move that the commission approve a certificate of appropriateness to install. Sorry, trying to get to the summary here. Okay. To install, replace fencing as in, pardon me, replace fencing as it is in conformance with the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation numbers 2, 9, and 10.
Very good. Vice Chair Laughlin? You had your hand raised. I assumed you wanted a second.
Oh, I was trying to raise it to make the motion, but Mr. Owens beat me to it, so I will just second.
Very good. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Legge, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair Laughlin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye. Ms. Nassif? This passes by a vote of 5-0. Thank you so much for your stewardship and good luck with your project.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. We'll see you around. Mr.
We'll
Wolf,
see you again.
Mr. Wolf, I notice there are no attendees, so I'm going to ask for a motion to continue case number CH-DR-2020-00092 concerning 918 West 32nd Terrace. Any of my fellow commissioners can say so moved.
So moved.
Very good. This motion has been made. Is there a second to continue this case?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to continue this case to the October hearing. All those in favor, we're going to go through one at a time. Please say aye. Commissioner Legge.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lachlan.
Aye.
Commissioner Owens.
Aye.
Dr. Goof.
Aye.
Very good. This case is continued. Mr. Wolf, can we just have like a quick 5-minute break before we go on to the 106?
Sure, not a problem.
I need some coffee. I had to reboot my router and I didn't get any coffee yet, so I'm missing it. All right, very good. We'll have a quick 5-minute recess and then we'll be back at 10:12.
What do you think, Sean, for my driveway? You see it?
Looks nice.
It's not in my budget anytime soon, but I can dream. I mean, first
How's
I
everything going over
get a
there?
driveway. What'd you say?
How is everything going over there at the house?
Good. My husband's finishing the basement right now, so we have something to do while we basically are going to be stuck at home for, I don't know, probably till Thanksgiving.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're due any day now?
A week from Tuesday, go in.
Okay. Oh, right. It's not October yet. I'm ahead of myself.
Got to get the federal benefits for my husband. They start October 1st, so.
All right. Sweet, sweet caffeine. Sorry, I'm a minute late, but that should surprise exactly nobody. Actually, it should be, no, in fact, it should be surprising. It should be surprising that I am so close to on time. All right. So, Mr. Wolf, I would like to call this meeting back to order. And let's hear those 106 reviews. My fellow commissioners, before Mr. Wolf proceeds with this, please note that in your emails, you should have received a sample motion for these 106s in case you are feeling professional on making a motion. Mr. Wolf.
So basically, there were 20 cases that staff reviewed, mostly just minor home repair types of cases. And then actually, the city had some basically energy upgrade cases also over the last month. And then for the regular cases, we'll take the first one by itself, 2020-HUD-0106, 660 Brooklyn Avenue. This one has exhibits A through F for the record.
Is there any opposition? Is there any opposition to admitting exhibits A through F? Hearing no, they're so admitted, and we will proceed with our report. Mr. Wolf.
So the scope of work for this particular project is really just renovations to the existing elevator. The elevator shaft was actually put in 1999. This building originally didn't have one at all. So really, it's not going to be any work on any historic features. They basically need to upgrade the motor, electrical systems, and some ADA compliance issues. This actually building hadn't been previously, we actually did a preliminary look at it during the modern survey, did a little more research. So it was basically built in 1968. Edward M. Fuller Jr. was the architect. It was basically a dormitory for the Kansas City College of Osteopathy. Currently serves as a treatment facility, but Edward Fuller was the son of Edward Fuller Sr., another architect, and Albert Fuller, his brother. So a family of architects. But Mr. Fuller really was, he actually lived north of the river in Briarcliff. He actually designed a lot of the North Kansas City School District buildings in the 50s and 60s. So kind of continuing its educational move. Staff thought this was a good example of a modern style building and of a prominent local architect that did a lot of work in education. So staff thought it would be eligible potentially under A, or potentially under C, and that the proposed work would have no adverse effect on the character of the building. And that concludes the staff report.
Excellent. Questions for Mr. Wolf? I don't have any questions, but I will just start. Then I'll get to Vice Chair Laughlin. And I just wanted to say really quickly that I mean, we all know that I love the mid-century style, and I think this is just such a beautiful building. So I'm glad to see that it's in such good shape. Vice Chair Laughlin.
I was just going to make a motion unless anyone else had anything to say.
Fantastic. Put that on hold real quick so that we can just make sure we go through the rest of it, because I see no other comment. So I will close the floor to questions for Mr. Wolf. I'll note the applicant is not present and there are no members of the audience. We'll close the floor for further testimony. And now I'd like to make the opportunity for discussion or a motion. Vice Chair Laughlin.
All right. In case number 2020-HUD-00106, I move that the commission accepts staff recommendation that the proposed project will have no adverse effect on historic properties.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Owens. This motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Vice Chair Lachlan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Legge, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
We'll vote aye. Mr. Wilson says pass. We're ready for the next one.
So the next set, I'll take the next four together. Case number 2020-HUD-0115, 1748 Washington Street. Case number 2020-HUD-0116, 1845 East 59th Street. Case number 2020-HUD-0122, 2706 Jarboe Street. And case number 2020-HUD-0128, 1511 Northeast 51st Street. All these have exhibits A through F for the record also.
Very good. Is there any opposition to admitting exhibits A through F? Hearing and seeing none, they are so admitted. We'll proceed with the staff report. Mr. Wolf.
So the first one that said is 1748 Washington Street. It's the really Ezel Apartments was the original name. Now it's called the Nottingham Apartments. Staff felt that this had a number of alterations, including, as you can see from the 40s photo, removal of prominent colonnaded front porch, the interior of the courtyard, plus some infill inset porches. So staff thought this didn't retain integrity for listing. And then the other three were single family houses, a vernacular bungalow, a vernacular house, and then a split level, which staff felt were altered or a common style that did not meet the criteria for listing. Therefore, in these four cases, staff felt there was no effect on historic properties. That concludes the staff report.
Very good. Is there any questions for staff? Are there any questions for staff? Grammar is hard. Commissioner Owens?
Not a question, just want to say I never knew that the Nottingham Apartments had that awesome balcony. It's just too bad it's not still there.
I know. Yeah, I didn't. Actually, we hadn't surveyed it before. I just did a little research and found that out. So, yeah, unfortunate.
Very interesting. Cool.
Right on. If there are no other questions for Mr. Wolf, I'll echo Commissioner Owens' comments too. That is sad. That's a beautiful looking picture in that 40 assessment photograph. Go ahead and note that the applicant is not present, so there is no need for testimony or questioning, and that there are no members of the audience, so there is also no need for public testimony or questions. So we'll close the floor to further testimony, allow for opportunity for discussion amongst the commission or perhaps a motion.
I'll move.
Dr. Guth, the floor is
Move
yours.
that the commission. I move that the commission accepts staff recommendation that the proposed project in cases number 2020 HUD 0115, 0116, 0122, and 0128 will have no effect on historic properties.
Motion has been made. Is there a second? Commissioner Owens.
Second.
Motion has been made by Dr. Guth, seconded by Commissioner Owens. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Vice Chair Lachlan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Legge, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye. Mr. Wilson says pass.
And then the last case, 2020-HUD-0110, actually I wanted to hold that until the October 23rd meeting. Do you have a motion to that effect?
May I have a motion to continue that said case?
So moved.
Thank you to the office. Very good. Thank you. Moved by Vice Chair Lachlan. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Commissioner Legge. Is there any discussion on this motion? Okay. Vice Chair Lachlan, how do you vote on your motion?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Legge, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Dr. Guth, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Very good. This is so moved, so continued rather. Mr. Wolf, where does that leave us?
Really nothing else. I do have a general question. We actually have a number of National Register nominations that need to be reviewed. And actually we need everybody but Commissioner Lachlan actually to be at a meeting to review those. I didn't know if everybody planned to be here October 23rd or not. If not, we might.
50-50.
I know, I did. So I didn't know if you'd be interested in just doing a special meeting just to review those nominations, to get them out of the way. It wouldn't take especially long. But the state's been calling on me to make sure we comment. So, and I know the quorum issues we have, so.
That would work for me.
Okay,
I need it to be an afternoon hearing though.
that's fine. I'll send out a couple times. I said it shouldn't take especially long, just to make sure we get all those comments in. So, and make the next meeting short. So I will follow up with everyone.
So Brad, does this mean that they're on the November agenda for the AC?
Yeah, that's the plan. At least that's what they told me. So,
So that's exciting.
well, they just followed up with me because they asked them why they weren't on this docket. So I said, well, actually, I just got the nominations today. Our mails from the state to here is really slow. So, but I told them we plan to review them before the November. So I will get those all and make a meeting so we can make sure we get those reviewed. So.
Have there been any applicants to be a board member or a commissioner?
I'm going to follow up again. I actually had Jeff and Diane, our department director and assistant, follow up with the mayor's office, but we still I might try to do it again, at least to fill a vacant seat or two would be very helpful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will try again, see if I can get some appointments. So.
Right on.
And yeah, and I said, if you have any ideas, obviously we need an attorney, historic preservation representative, organization representative, and a public member. So
I know, Mr. Wolf, I sent you the name of someone who would be a great public
Yes.
member.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're still interested or not, or if we can get the mayor's office to maybe act on that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I know they've got a lot. I know they're digging out, every time you switch over, there's a lot of new stuff to do. Cool.
Okay.
Right on. Any other?
Thank you. That's all I have. So.
Any other comments for the good of the body? Vice Chair Lachlan, why don't you go ahead and take us out with a motion to adjourn?
You're reading my mind. I move we adjourn.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Very good. 5-0. We are adjourned. See you all in October.
Or
Thank
before.
you.
Obviously,
Bye.
we'll continue to meet virtually.
Yes, before October would be ideal if we could do it. Like ASAP.
So yeah, I'll try to get it pretty quick. So
Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
bye.